together. Just so that some of you know me, and then Didi will introduce herself. I'm Nicola. I'm a physiotherapist and a mum of 3 children. Our children are 14, our daughter's 14, and our boys are 12 and 10. And I've always had a passion for health and wellness. Welcome, Kirsty, and Tutor, welcome. And I teach mindfulness and breath work, and Didi and I are doing a mindfulness course together through Stellenbosch University to become mindfulness teachers, and that's how we met and connected and realized a shared love of the oils at that time. And I teach also a feminine wisdom course, which is my passion work. It's about connecting women to their bodies, the wisdom of their bodies. We talk about masculine and feminine energy, which we have in all of ourselves. We talk about our menstrual cycles and how that might be connected to nature's cycles and our energy levels. We talk about our pelvic floors and what's really going on down there, and all this stuff that we don't get a chance to talk about much as women and are so important. And so I love that work. How my passion started is because I developed terrible eczema myself when I was in my 20s and living and working in the UK. I was working in a physiotherapy practice there and was very busy and quite stressed, and I developed a dry patch on my forehead, which, sorry, my son's just got his new bag. It's very exciting. Anyway, so I developed this dry patch on my forehead, and I got quite worried about it. I went to go and see our GP, which was the only thing that was available to me in the UK. And he gave me some cream, and I put it on, and it cleared up, and I was very happy. And then I stopped using the cream, and it came back worse. And he then did patch tests on my back. He put strips down my back with different allergens to see what I was allergic to, because he said I had an allergic dermatitis, a type of eczema. And I went back a few days later, and he then told me that I was allergic to formaldehyde, which is a preservative that I knew very well. It's a very strong and actually a carcinogenic preservative. It's what when we dissected bodies in second year varsity, that's what the bodies were bathed in, so that it preserved them for the whole year. And I told him that I was not in contact with formaldehyde, so it couldn't be that. But then he gave me a whole lot of other chemical names of similar chemicals that are in the formaldehyde family, which are the preservatives in a lot of creams and lotions and things like that we use normally. Things like cocamidal, propylbutane, imidiazolyl, all these sorts of things. And again, I said, I'm sure I didn't have any of those, but I promised him I'd go back and look at my creams and lotions. And when I did, I just found it was everywhere. It was in every cream, every lotion, shampoos. I looked for alternatives, the Body Shop, Dermalogica, various other, and it was in everything. And I was quite shocked because I realized how many chemicals were in so many of our products. And so it began my healing journey, realizing what I was putting on my body and in my body. It was a long sort of 10-year journey of trying to heal my body and my skin. I did a lot of Chinese medicine. I did Tai Chi. I did homeopathy, supplements, and they all helped, stress stuff, psychotherapy. And I wish I'd had the oils at that time, because they are such potent tissue healers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And things because they're not just treating the symptoms, like the cortisone is just treating the signs and symptoms, not treating the root cause. And when we have calpol for a fever, we're actually suppressing our body's immune response instead of allowing our body to do what it does best. I mean, we know in this COVID time that a fever is often a raised body temperature is what is helping our body to kill this virus that's inside us. But our Western medicine often only offers us symptom relief. So the calpol will suppress the temperature, which can allow the virus to perpetuate. So all of this I started to become more conscious of on this healing journey. Now my skin, thankfully, is in a very good place, but I can get eczema flare-ups, particularly if I buy new clothes and I wear them straight away, because the dyes that they use preservatives in the dyes so that the clothes look nice on our shelves. So if I haven't washed those, often those can be irritating on my skin, and when I'm stressed and boundary issues and things like that. So this has all been really part of my healing journey, and Didi will tell you a little bit about hers. But we're co-hosting this class today, except I'm going to be doing more talking, because Didi will tell you a little bit about her story right now. She's not on her top form, even though she looks like she's on top form. So we'll tell you about that. And please, we want this to be an interactive class. You're more than welcome to ask questions in the chat. We will not see them immediately, but we'll refer to them, or you can interrupt us at any time. And we just love sharing this because we're both very passionate about the oils and how they've supported our family. So Didi, over to you, and then I'll continue.
Hi, everybody. So just a little bit of intro for those who don't know me. So I am a mom of two boys, 19 and 13, basically grown men. I am a life coach and business coach, and also an Enneagram coach. As Nicky touched on, we are studying a mindfulness-based stress reduction course together at Stellenbosch University, and that's how we got to know each other. And we found that there were so many other commonalities. I mean, every time as she introduces herself and tells her story about her health, there's just also such a lot of similarities there with my journey of my own health. And my sister here, Sybil, knows how I've literally gone around South Africa and around the world seeking alternative health and making sure that my immune system and my overall body is where it is today. But this morning I join you having symptoms of our beloved COVID-19. And yesterday I had to go and do the test because I also have a foundation which is called Didi and Friends Foundation. And we do a lot of community work. And we've currently been doing work with 30 amazing young girls in Alexander Township. So Jemima, just to give you a background of South Africa, we've got some squatters, camps, and so this particular township, Alex, we're working in a particular area called Sitwetla, where there is just basically people are living, 8 people in one room, no flushing toilets, no water, or water in a central area. And so, yes, I have been very careful, and I'd change my clothes where necessary and would sanitize and all that. But the truth is you can never be too safe. And so my colleague tested positive on Wednesday evening. And so yesterday she gave me a call to say, please, can I go test and all that. But I have been sick since last week, Friday. I just thought it was a common flu and being run down, as I've had been under a lot of pressure with we had an assignment to submit last week Friday for our MBSR course. And just because we hit a cold front. But if I tell you that the doTERRA oils have been my support, I've used nothing else. But then as I speak, I've got my diffuser running next to me with an oil called On Guard, Peppermint and Breathe. And I can't say yes, I sound terrible, but I'm not feeling terrible. I have not been on an antibiotic. I'm using my oils in a supportive way. And there is also a roller which we'll talk about, which is called Flume. And I'm using this literally after 2 or 3 hours, rolling it onto my temples, my glands, my wrist, under my feet, and putting it along my spine. And that helps when you are feeling like I am today. So my voice is very croaky, and that's why we decided that Nicky will do most of the talking, so you don't have to bear with my croaky voice. But just to also maybe touch again on how, I think it's good that I am sick and that I am coming online in the state to actually show the uses. I mean, when I woke up this morning, I inhaled the breathe to just open up my airways. I used lemon, a drop of lemon in my warm water to just flush my system down. I then took eucalyptus, breathe, and peppermint, put the drops and switched on my steam, and I steamed. And I must say, even though I do sound terrible, I think I look good. And I do feel good. And so there is a wealth of nature has been given us such a great gift with these oils. And there's never been a time that I've been so grateful to tap into what God has given us, and which is these oils, because these oils all come from trees, and that there's no preservatives. Everything is 100% pure. And what better way to support myself in this time with these oils? We truly are living in unprecedented times. And yes, I am being cautious. I am, there's never been a better time to be more accountable for your actions and how you expose yourself to others in this time. But I think had I not been using the oils, I would be scared that I'm putting my family and others at risk. But there's a great comfort in knowing that I'm taking all precautionary measures and that I'm being supported in a healthy manner and not running my system down with antibiotics or anything like that. Yes, it is important to seek medical advice should your symptoms get worse. But all I'm saying is that this is such a great support for me. And I'm doing your like ginger and lemon water. I'm using all the remedies and resting. But most importantly, for me, the oils have been such a supportive means at this time, and I'm seeing the effectiveness of them. I'm sleeping better because I have the diffuser in my room running with On Guard and Breathe to help my chest. And when I do wake up at 3, I woke up at 3 this morning, I applied my Flume roller again. I took off my socks, put it under my feet, and put it on all along my spine, my temples, and my wrist. So, and I was able to fall asleep again, and I woke up at 7. And that's why I am feeling well, even though I'm sounding all croaky. And so I leave it at that because I can go on and on about these wells because they have been amazing.
Thank you, Didi. That's thank you for sharing that with us. So because we're just talking to Sibs before coming, as everyone was coming on, and you know, we're all going to be exposed. This is a virulent virus. It's not something that is really that avoidable, but our bodies I've written a blog called We Were Made for Times Like These, and our bodies are resilient and strong, and just by the very fact that we are here, we are the survivors. Our ancestors have all gone through many viruses, many outbreaks, many things, and because we are the ones who have come through, they've been the survivors. So we really have got an incredible resilience in our bodies and incredible wisdom, and the oils help to support this. We're not sort of substituting them for our own body's intelligence and wisdom. So I'm going to share with you going forward. Kirsty on here, is that Kirsty Weaver? I just didn't get to say hi. Who or which Kirsty, if you just introduce yourself, otherwise we've spoken to everyone. You can just put it in the chat bar if you'd like, and then I can just see who it is. Anyway, so I'm going to share my screen with you because we're going to start by just looking at, oh, hold on, sorry, I'm going back to, I haven't. Essential Oils 101, made easy. And the goals are to teach you about these oils and ways to use them and how we use them in our home. So the first thing, as Dee said, is that these are 100% natural, pure, and therefore they're very safe. So the important thing is that there's no FDA or governing body telling us that what it says on a bottle of essential oil is in it. So anyone can put 100% pure, 100% natural, 100% organic, and there's no one actually checking that this is the case. And so doTERRA felt this was unacceptable, and they devised a form of testing called Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, and they've got it on each of their bottles. every single bottle undergoes 54 tests, 43 that are done in-house by doTERRA themselves, and 11 that are done externally by the Aromatic Plant Research Center, which is an independent research center. You can go on their website, and on their website it says that they randomly also test. They can test any essential oils for companies, essential oil companies, to give them results, but they also do their own random market surveys and testing, and that they find that more than 80% of the oils that they test are adulterated, which means that they might have fillers like extra oils added to them to dilute them. They might have synthetic fragrances or perfumes to enhance them. They might have been contaminated with fertilizers or pesticides, which farmers may have knowingly or unknowingly used. This might have been leached through the soil from neighboring farms or been blown over. But if we have any of those contaminants, we lose the safety of and the purity of the oil. So under every single bottle of doTERRA oils, there are two numbers. One is the expiry date. Because it's a foodstuff and a cosmetic, it has to have an expiry date. This one's 2024, but it could last a lot longer if kept in the shade and out of sun and out of light. And then the other number is a tracking number, which one can check on a website called Source to You. And you can find out where in the world this was sourced and the results of the testing. So when we have this 100% purity and this guarantee of purity, we know that that there's only peppermint in this bottle of mint. And then the therapeutic grade refers to where the plants grow indigenously. So doTERRA don't have their own farms. They work in collaboration with many small farmers all over the world. And they source the plants from wherever in the world they grow best. Now I love our English gardens. So our garden in Africa has roses and lavender and things. And our Margaret Roberts lavender here does not have the same therapeutic grade as the lavender that grows indigenously or naturally in France and in Bulgaria. That's where it grows strongest. And that's where the lavandin, which is the therapeutic compound, that's where the lavandin is highest in those lavender. If we had to compress and distill our lavender here, it wouldn't have this high level of lavandin. So it wouldn't have the same therapeutic effect. So doTERRA work very closely with their farmers in a method called co-impact sourcing. They talk about making a difference with their farmers on the ground. They support them. They have no middlemen. They do things like building wells, digging wells and boreholes, helping to build schools, helping to build hospitals, because many of their farmers are very isolated. They're very rural. Some don't even own their land. They're like our rural farmers, and they set up payment plans so that in 3 to 4 years' time, they will have bought their lands and have the security for their families going on. And I went to the doTERRA convention last year. I booked my tickets 2 weeks before, very last minute, but because I was realizing that I was talking and sharing about these oils a lot, and because I'm a health professional and because I've been so invested in natural health and wellness, people are really expecting me to have done my research. And although I had done my research, I really felt I needed to go and check out this company, its ethics, its sustainability, its sourceability, how it treated farmers, the sustainability. Anyway, I went to this convention expecting maybe this rah-rah American, like bands, motivational speakers, this whole thing. And I was blown away because there was so much about supporting the farmers, and many farmers and distillers from all over the world speaking, hearing many of the interventions that are happening. doTERRA talk about two things: creating a healer in every home, and for us to be empowered to be our own healers, as Didi is being for herself right now, having tools to support herself and her family without necessarily having to defer to someone else always for guidance. We're grateful for that guidance when we need it, but we can be far more of our own healers. And then they also talk about blessing on both sides of the bottle. And as you could hear from Didi and I, we both feel very blessed to have these oils. They've made a huge difference to ourselves and our families. But it's also important for me to know that the farmers who are working with doTERRA are blessed by the interventions that they've set up. So when we have this highest purity and this certified pure and this therapeutic grade, we know then what's in every bottle of peppermint, and in every bottle of peppermint is exactly the same. So it's like every panado, every calpol is exactly the same. So now we can do research on it, because we can't research something if every oil is different. Then we'll have different effects, and it's more down to the therapeutic grade and purity than to the effectiveness of the plant. And so a few years ago, Johns Hopkins University adopted doTERRA as their baseline for their research, doTERRA oils. And so you can find many, many research articles on PubMed, on the Aromatic Plant Research Center, and Aromatic Pharmacist. When you start to look, there's incredible research around essential oils, which is very exciting. And we also now have medical collaborations. So one of these, which is very exciting for me, was this Prime Meridian Healthcare Clinic. I learned about this at the doTERRA convention. They'd already set up 3 clinics, and they're expanding to another 30 more. And these are clinics where they have board-certified physicians, which are mainstream physicians like we have in our hospitals here at Prime Meridian Healthcare, are integrating evidence-based medicine with natural and complementary therapies in a prevention-focused healthcare model that seeks to reverse the course of chronic illness and reduce dependency on prescription drugs. So this is really music to my heart, especially as a healthcare professional. We're combining the best of both. You know, my mum's had hip replacements, and thank goodness for our Western medicine and that sort of thing, and anesthetics, and for life-saving surgery and trauma surgery. But we can do so much with the oils and helping to detox our system, to help support inflammation, support healing, all that sort of thing too. So it's incredible for me, and I love, we've got many doctors on our teams, and we're talking about medical collaborations and ways we can support their patients when they're following a Western medical model, like oncology and radiology, radiotherapy, radiation, and the oils. And doTERRA have also got a wonderful collaboration with St. Elizabeth Healthcare. They're setting up an incredible oncology unit. It's in Mississippi, and there's a whole floor, doTERRA floor, as part of this oncology center, where they're supporting, educating people on how to use the oils. They're also teaching yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, mindfulness, healthy eating, healthy cooking, to empower these people undergoing their oncology treatments. So that for me is very, very exciting, and very something to really embrace. The second thing on the slide says effective, more effective than modern approaches to health problems. And if you told me this 18 months ago, I would have liked it to be true, but I've been very skeptical, because the things I've used in the past so often can be a bit more slower acting. You don't see quite the dramatic results as you see with Western medicine. And so our cupboards are full of homeopathy, which has been a great support to me, supplements, Chinese medicine, various things. And I've always embraced those. But now I can completely say that in so many cases, it is more effective than modern healthcare approaches. And I'll tell you why. So basic biology 101 is that every cell, and my daughter's learning this in her biology at the moment at 14, has a cell membrane. And the cell membrane is what protects the cell. It's what keeps the cell contents in the cell, and it stops foreign bodies, foreign particles, foreign viruses, bacteria, things from getting into the cell. It protects the cell. It's the cell's immune system and protection. And this is an oily cell membrane. Now, much of our Western medicine is water-based. An antibiotic is a powder. We add water, we shake it up, and we take it like that. But that's why our physician might say to us, look, I think you've got a bacterial infection. This will work very well. You can take the antibiotic. Or they'll say, no, I think it's virus. You unfortunately just have to sit it out because it's not going to help you. And that's because bacteria generally sits outside the cell and around the cell. And so the Western-based, water-based medicine can be effective against it. Whereas a virus, as we're learning in this time, sits inside a cell. And so with this oily cell membrane, the water-based medicine can't permeate. And so it can't affect what's in the cell. Whereas our essential oils are oil-based and they're carbon-based, which is the same as our cells. And so they can permeate very quickly and very easily into a cell. So it doesn't matter to us whether this is a virus or a bacteria. We can use the same oils to treat it, like Didi is doing now. So it actually works very quickly and effectively. And it doesn't have the side effects of wreaking havoc on our hormones, on our gut microbiome, of becoming addictive, of all the sort of side effects. We talk about the oils having side benefits, and I'll tell you about some of that in due course. But this is why they're so effective. And finally, now this last slide says, on the slide says more affordable than traditional medical care. Again, I wouldn't have quite believed that. When I got my kit, I actually got the mini kit. It was all that was available. We were still getting our oils from America, whereas doTERRA is now here in South Africa. And you buy a pack with 10 oils. So there are 10 sort of oils. I'm missing 2 here. They've been stolen out by our family. And when I said to my husband that I wanted to get this for our family, he's like, really? We've already got a lot of oils and we've already got a lot of stuff. Is this really, maybe just use 1 or 2 and see. But why this is more affordable is because this kit is called the Family's Essential Kit, or it used to be called the Family's Physician Kit. And that's because, as I said earlier, doTERRA is trying to empower us to be our own healers, and that in this kit are oils and blends to help to deal with 80 to 90% of things that come up in a family or in an individual's life. And so when we can use these oils together, it helps to support us very profoundly. Now, an example of this is if we have a situation like an ear infection, and I'll tell you 2 examples of if you've got the oils in your life or if you don't. So often many of us as mothers know that an ear infection often will start in the evening, 6, 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, or you've just gone somewhere on holiday and your child starts to say, oh, my ear's sore, mummy. What? So if we don't have the oils, all we've really got at our disposal is to offer them something like Calpol to try and ease the pain and hope that they'll sleep and that their body will fight it while they sleep. We can maybe do like a saline spray to clear out their sinuses or something like that. And then the next morning, if it's not better, we have to, if it was me, I'd have to cancel classes, make an appointment to see the doctor, take the child to the doctor, get them checked out, then take the time to go to the pharmacy, get the medication, pay both the doctor and the pharmacy, get home, start this protocol, which is often now 12 to 18 hours after the initial signs, probably more 18 hours after. And then we start treating it. And if the same thing comes up a couple of days later with brother or sister or granny or nanny or anyone, even the dog, we have to go through this whole cycle again. Now, how this might look different if you actually have the oils in your home is that if something like this happens with our children, what I do is I've always got a little jar of coconut oil next to my oils. And that just reminds me of just looking at Kirsty Rebello. I just thought it was maybe Kirsty Wright who makes me lovely nourished creams. Welcome, Kirsty. So I've used one of Kirsty's jars to put coconut oil in, and I put coconut oil in my hand, and I'll do a drop of lavender and a drop of tea tree or melaleuca. It was called melaleuca. We used to call it melaleuca, but we're kind of changing it to its more common known name, which is tea tree. So I put a drop of each in my hand, and I'd rub it around the ear. Both are very strong antivirals. I take a little bit of cotton wool, dab it in my hand as well, and put it in the ear. We never put oils directly into the ear. They're far too potent. Then we'd get our flume roller, which Didi mentioned, which is like our powerful antibiotic roller. I'll tell you about it. We put it under the feet and up and down the spine, and put this child to bed. And while they're sleeping, I can even do 1 or 2 more applications of this. By the next morning when they wake up, so often they are remarkably better, and I can continue with my classes. Our nanny, Catherine, is very adept at using the oils. She's learned, so she can continue to apply them as needed, and our children too, they're very empowered. And often within 24 hours, they are much, much better. I've told the story a number of times at classes, and I've had so many people feeding back to say, that's exactly what happened to us. We just arrived on the farm, or we just arrived on holiday, and I couldn't go to the doctor, and we tried it because I remembered it from class, and it was amazing how it helped. And this is even families whose children are really susceptible to ear infections and have always had to have antibiotics when they get them. So, so that's how, and the same combination of lavender and tea tree is incredible for sunburn. It's incredible for eczema and for acne, skin issues. It's incredible for grazes, wounds, things like that. So we say that they have side benefits. And so the same combination is very useful for other things too. So now Didi normally tells us about the ways to use the oils, but I'll just carry on. And she's already told you about how she's using it for her own protocol. So she, as she said earlier, she's diffusing On Guard and Breathe and various things like that. So we used to both think that diffusing was just nice smells, so it would make a room smell nice. Now we know the powerful therapeutic value of this, and that it's actually it's the quickest and best way to get the oils into our system. And why this is because our lungs are so highly perfused. The whole goal of our lungs is to get the oxygen that we inhale into and around and into every cell in our bodies as quickly as possible. So when we inhale the oils, those particles can go into our cells all around our bodies as quickly as possible. And if you have the example of when we go for surgery and an anesthetic, our anesthetic is administered through our mask. And we breathe in that and we count to 10. And by the time we've got to sort of 6 or 7, we often are gone because we've inhaled these particles. They've gone across through our bodies so quickly that it's sort of shut our cells down and our body down so profoundly. So we have incredibly strong links between our olfactory nerve and our brain, our memory centers. So these oils are also very helpful for rewiring neural pathways, helpful for us breaking obsessive thought patterns, and changing mood very quickly. So we either use them in a diffuser, or a ghetto diffuser is what we call when we drop a drop in our hands, we inhale it, we rub it on our neck and shoulders. It's very powerful like that. The second way is we use it topically. Sorry, I'm just turning off my diffuser actually here. I've got it going, but it's making a bit of a noise. So that's my diffuser that sits on my desk here. Topically, we can put the oils directly on us. Like if we have a burn, we just put lavender directly on. Sores and wounds. I know Elaine's on this call. Our boy is all in cycling yesterday. Her little boy really hurt his lip. He fell and hurt his lip, and she's just got an On Guard spray. And I was just saying that On Guard has got numbing properties, so you're putting that on a sore, and it's also got antiviral, antibacterial properties. She could literally just put it onto the sore. We also make rollers, like I showed you this flume roller, and I carry my rollers in this with me wherever I go. They have the drops of oil, and then we top it up with what we call fractionated coconut oil, which is coconut oil with the triglyceride chain removed, that basically this fat's taken out so that it doesn't congeal, it stays runny, and so we can use it in our rollers. So we often put it through our feet because those have the biggest pores. Our feet have biggest pores and the least skin oils, and it's very effective in moving stuff through our body. It's all to do with meridians and fascial lines and the reflexology sort of thing. And we can put it topically, we can put it on pulse points, lymph glands, our soft skin areas are all very good for, and back of neck and shoulders. And then finally, internally. Now, if you mention to any aromatherapists about taking oils internally, they'll say, no, absolutely, you can't. And there's very good reason for that. It's because there isn't an FDA governing what's in the oils, and we don't know if they've been diluted, contaminated, if they're traces of pesticides and fertilizers, which can be quite toxic to us. So if we're then ingesting it, we concentrate in those, and it can be dangerous. When we have the certified pure therapeutic grade testing, we know that it's pure. We know that what's in this bottle of lemon is only lemon. And so we can have a drop in water and we can take it internally and enjoy the benefits of the lemon, which we'll tell you about. Or we can take things in a dropper and put it under our tongue. Or if they are very strong or hot oils, we can make a veggie cap, which is just an empty capsule. You can even empty out your own vitamin capsules, but you can buy these capsules from a pharmacy or health shop, empty capsules, and you add a little bit of carrier oil like olive oil or coconut oil, and then you add the oils that you need, and you can make your own medicine and take it internally. And it's a very effective way, particularly for digestive stuff and detoxing stuff, to take it internally. So please, if there's anything that comes up in the chat, Didi, if you want to flag it or bring it up, so please just ask questions in the chat, and I'll just continue to explain a little bit about these oils. So ask, and Didi will either answer in the chat or she can talk about it out loud. She can just interact. So lemon is an incredibly powerful oil for cleansing the body and cleansing the home. Lemon has incredible drawing properties. We know how it can clean. Many of us in South Africa have used lemons to clean our braai grids or our cooking grids. And so lemon, I know Didi uses enormous amounts. She's found it very helpful for her digestive system, for getting a regular digestive system. We use a drop in warm water to start our day. It's our detox. Lemon's very acidic, but when we metabolize it in our bodies, it becomes alkaline, which helps to An acidic body is a body that is far more susceptible to chronic disease, and we create acidic bodies by having too much sugar, coffee, carbohydrates, meat, things like that. And so the lemon helps to alkalize our bodies and helps to detox our bodies. So it's really important for us to have at least 1 drop in water in the morning to start our day. And then we often have, like my glass of water has got a drop of lemon, or I'll carry around a bottle of water with a drop of lemon. We try and drink lots of water when we use the oils because it helps to flush our system. And so that's very powerful for detoxing. And then I've got cleaning sprays with lemon to help, and they help get stickiness off all the things that we find really hard to remove. Got some with vinegar and just lemon, or just sometimes I just use a drop of lemon to wipe sticky labels, gummy stuff, for cleaning chopping boards, things like that, ovens, really, really effectively. So I always read from a little card, and we send you this sort of stuff afterwards if you get the oils to support you, so you don't have to remember it now. And I always forget something, so I always read this. So lemon is cleansing, detox, digestive health, which I mentioned, and seasonal threats, which I'll talk about in a second. So it's one of our favorite oils, and all the citrus oils are very uplifting. They're very uplifting to mood, and they're very good for focus and concentration. And the lemon only has the lemon rind. So when the only people who don't agree on us having lemon in water in the morning are generally dentists, because the citric acid in lemon can wear away our enamel on our teeth. This lemon is only made from the rind, so it actually doesn't have the pulp and the citric acid in it, so it doesn't have the same effect on our teeth. So we can use it safely without worrying about that. So then we have, let me just have a sip of water. Lavender. Here it says it soothes occasional skin irritations, relaxing, calming aroma. So I think lavender is much more than this, but basically lavender soothes us externally, our skin and our physical bodies, and internally it can really soothe our minds and help us to calm our stress levels. It helps deal with allergies. So lemon, lavender, and peppermint together, this is our like natural antihistamine blend. It's very good for soothing our system. Our daughter woke up also this morning quite feeling very puffy and sinuses full, and it can happen with seasonal changes, allergies, things like this. I know Didi normally talks about this a lot with her son TJ. He's always had quite an allergic nature, and he can wake up very very puffy, and so he takes drops of a drop of each in a little bit of water and takes it. Pippa had some this morning. I was like, TJ does it, you can do it. And she's like, oh, that peppermint was strong. But she afterwards, in just a few minutes, said, oh, it feels a lot more open. And we also put a drop of each in a little bit of coconut oil. She inhaled it and put it on her neck and shoulders. So these 3 are very powerful like antihistamines, and we can diffuse them as well. But the lavender on its own is very good for burns and bug bites, just putting them directly on, for healing skin stuff. If you had lavender, Elaine, I would put that also on Elgin's lip. One of the studies I love to quote is this one from PubMed Journal, and it's about the effect of lavender scent inhalation on the prevention of stress, anxiety, and depression in the postpartum period. So in this study, they took a group of 140 women who'd just given birth. They divided them into 2 groups, the aromatherapy and the non-aromatherapy group. The aromatherapy group were given drops of lavender to inhale every 8 hours. So they don't say whether they used it in a diffuser or on a piece of fabric or in their hand, but they did it for every 8 hours for their first month postpartum. And the control group didn't have any intervention, just the normal feedback. And then they followed them up at 2 weeks post-birth, a month, and 3 months post-birth. So even after they'd stopped doing the lavender, with the 21-item DAS scale, which is depression, anxiety, and stress scale, or the Edinburgh Stress, Anxiety, and Depression scale, which are mainstream scales that psychologists use for most of their research. And their results were quite astounding. They found that the average stress, anxiety, and depression at the point of 2 weeks, and then at a month and at 3 months, were significantly lower in the study group compared to the control group. And the conclusion was inhaling the scent of lavender for 4 weeks can prevent stress, anxiety, and depression after childbirth. Now that's quite profound, because I had many friends who struggled with postpartum depression after we had our babies, and they would be put on medication, which would unfortunately interfere with their prolactin, which is a bonding hormone, but it's also what gets our milk flow going. So that often their milk would start to dry up and they'd have to stop breastfeeding. It would also interfere with weight gain, and they'd often put on quite a lot of weight. So although their postpartum depression might be feeling better, they were now stopping breastfeeding, and it interrupted some of the bonding, and they were putting on weight. So that also doesn't make one feel great. Whereas lavender can even go into our milk and soothe our baby, or they inhale the scent of lavender, keeps them calm, it helps them to sleep, it soothes any teething and things that they may have. And a sleeping and calm baby can only help mum to feel better. So this is why we say that the oils have side benefits, not necessarily side effects. So lavender is calming for sleep. It's a wonderful tool for sleep, for stress, for seasonal threats, and for which is the antihistamine, and for bug bites. And one of my favorite blends, this is how I started getting into the oils, is I make a blend called Calm, which I gave to the women on my course. I give them a journal, I do all sorts of lovely things. And Calm has lavender, peppermint, and frankincense. And it's a very calming blend. It's good for anxiety, and we wear it like a perfume. And so that's one of the blends I take everywhere with me, and one that I recommend to everyone. And it's been very, very helpful to a lot of people. Didi, you're more than welcome to chime in with whether you want to add anything, because we normally share the presentation of these oils. So if you think I've forgotten anything or missed anything out, please just chime in.
You're doing quite well, Nikki.
Thank you.
So all good. You're even adding my little bits that I usually add.
Exactly. I'm trying to channel my inner Didi.
So
what I do when I'm trying to be elegant and calm and gracious, I channel my inner Didi. Okay. So the next one is tea tree or melaleuca. It's got a cleansing and rejuvenating effect on the skin and protects against environmental and seasonal threats. It's also, I actually taught a class the other day with a woman called Robin, who does a lot of stuff with the emotions and energy of oils. And she said this is a very protective blend for like unwanted invasions emotionally or unwanted. And I thought, oh, how appropriate, because the first time I'd come across tea tree was with lice treatments. You know, when our children were little, and there'd be a lice thing, and then we'd have to find the guy, go get tea tree shampoo and tea tree it out. Now we just put a little bit of coconut oil and some tea tree and put it in their hair, and you can literally just comb out the lice. So it really is good for handling unwanted visitors on our body and unwanted visitors emotionally. So it's our boundaries. And so tea tree is also very good for like dandruff and scalp. It's good for viral sort of things like cold sores, like athlete's foot, like gunky stuff that might be going on. It's very good for, like skin irritations. Our daughter's got a little tea tree roller that she uses for her pimples and spots and all that sort of thing that comes up at this 14-year-old age. It's good for sinus and immune support. It's very good for immune boosting. And it's a healthy scalp. So it's very, very versatile and one of our favorite oils. Then oregano is a very powerful immune booster. It's what we call our natural antibiotic. It smells incredibly strongly of pizzas, that real oregano smell. So it's not one you would sort of wear around often because it's such a strong smell and it's such a strong oil, hot oil. So if you had to put that on your lip directly, like we can with tea tree, it would actually burn your lip. So if you do ever have a case where the oils are very hot or very strong, or you've got some in your eye or anything, all we literally do is we dilute it with coconut oil. We don't use water, because remember that oil and water don't mix. And when you have water, it almost drives it in. Whereas when we use a bit of coconut oil, we just put it on the spot and it dilutes it almost instantly. The coconut oil helps it to bind and to be absorbed, but when we add a lot of coconut oil, it dilutes it a lot. So it takes away that burning or any skin reaction that we might have, like for something like oregano. And oregano is incredible for detoxing. It's incredible for immune support. It's one of the ones we use in a capsule, but it's too hot to take in a glass of water. So that's why we put it in there with a little bit of olive oil or carrier oil. It's very good for phlegm on the chest. So at this time, like Didi's using her Flume roller, which also already has we'll tell you about it, has oregano in it, but she can also add a drop of oregano to underneath her feet to really supercharge her immune system. For that. So it's also very good for skin imperfections like warts, skin tags, various things like that. We make a little bottle, very diluted, with just 2 drops of oregano and coconut oil, and we use that. And within 2 to 3 weeks, there's a profound change, and if the wart hasn't completely gone away. It's incredible how it does this. Then we have peppermint. Peppermint promotes a healthy respiratory function, relieves tension, and alleviates stomach upset. So we love making peppermint tea from the mint in our garden. We put it in a teapot, we put hot water over it, we let it sort of steep for a while, and we have it after a meal. And it's so good for, you don't feel nearly as bloated and full, and it's so good for digestion. Now, this peppermint in the peppermint bottle is 50 to 70 times stronger than that peppermint that we're getting from our garden. So it's incredibly supportive for upset stomachs, for feeling bloated, for reflux. It's good for headaches. It cools the skin down, so it's good for hot flushes. It's good for fevers. It gives us the sensation of cool. So it's not suppressing it's not suppressing the temperature. It's just helping us to feel cooler and for it to be more manageable. Yeah, so it's for cooling, for head tension, headaches, for energy. It's very good for uplifting energy. It's very good for focus. We often diffuse lemon and peppermint together to help focus for studying, things like that, for cleansing the air. And remember, the 3 of them together with lavender are for seasonal threats, like hay fever. So peppermint's a great go-to. I have a peppermint roller with me all the time, and I use that and put it back here for the start of a headache, or for driving long distances to stay focused, to stay awake. We just do a drop of peppermint. Men seem to love a drop of peppermint in their hands, inhaling it, putting it back behind their neck and shoulders. It seems to really resonate with them. I took my oils on a cricket tour just after we'd got back. Our son was on a cricket tour just after I'd got back from Utah. And I'd have a line of men, fathers, asking for the peppermint oil, standing on the side of the cricket field. They all look like they were praying, inhaling the peppermint. So and we love it in our coffee in the morning. We have it, a drop of peppermint in our coffee with a bit of coconut oil. We make a bulletproof coffee, and we add turmeric and peppermint into that. In fact, we did a little video on how to do it if you ever want to. And we use lemon in our G&Ts. They make the best G&Ts, the lemon. So frankincense, the king of oils, was given to baby Jesus for a very good reason. It really is incredible for promoting calm feelings. It's a tree oil, so it's got that grounding feeling of trees. It's very good for anti-aging and helping cells perform optimally because it's a profound cellular regenerating oil. I first came across it when we were watching a series called The Truth About Cancer, where people who have either undergone mainstream cancer treatments, but they've empowered themselves by changing diet or changing lifestyle or adopting different things. They were interviewed, or people who've gone completely alternative and they've treated their cancer, or the doctors who've supported them. And frankincense came up time and time again, and I didn't really understand it because I didn't really have essential oils at that time, or certainly not ones I could use internally or anything. And now I understand it profoundly. So frankincense, I have a bottle of frankincense that I keep next to my toothbrush. After I brush my teeth, I'll put a drop of frankincense under my tongue. I also have a little frankincense roller I put on my laughter lines. I put it under my feet, and it really helps me to sleep and to ground. I have a very deep sleep when I use it regularly. There's a wonderful article that I read quite a bit of, and I'm just going to read parts of it quickly. It's by the guy who was the producer of that Truth About Cancer, about the anti-inflammatory and healing power of Boswellia serrata. And he talks about it being the highest valued currency traded throughout the Middle East, and it held its value so immense that the high priest of Israel would burn it as a most precious sacrifice to God. And of course, we know it was one of the gifts the wise men gave to Jesus. And it's a powerhouse of anti-inflammatory, anti-aging, antibacterial, antiseptic, decongestant, and anti-cancer goodness, all in one beautiful kernel. It talks about, it's been proven scientifically to help fight inflammation, control blood lipids, which is our cholesterol, prevent coronary plaque, which again is our cholesterol, protect the liver, and help to relieve pain. The boswellic acids found in frankincense resin are also powerful pain relievers that actually work better than non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, such as aspirin and ibuprofen, because they don't disrupt our body's glycosaminoglycan synthesis. So as physios, we used to recommend take an anti-inflammatory if you'd sprained your ankle or put your back out. Now we don't, because we realize that the inflammation is the body's healing response. And by taking an anti-inflammatory, we're disrupting the healing response, and we can allow it to take longer for the body to repair. But sometimes the healing response can become chronic or we have too strong an inflammatory response, and this frankincense really helps to bring the body back to homeostasis, so it makes our healing response as effective as possible. So we realize now we need our inflammatory response, but we want to support it. So he talks about things using it for gas, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, cramps, and other forms of gastrointestinal discomfort, colds and influenza, so very useful at this time. I'm sure Didi is taking a drop of frankincense under his tongue at least once or twice a day. Inflammation and pain, as we've discussed, compromised immunity, imbalanced or damaged hormones, poor sleep. So like I said, I use it a lot for helping to ground and sleep. And then finally, cancer and the side effects of chemotherapy. Perhaps the biggest claim to fame, frankincense oil has been shown to treat multiple forms of cancer, including ovarian, breast, and skin cancers. A compound known as AKBA is one component of frankincense oil in particular that studies have shown effectively combats cancer cells and if it prevents them from spreading and metastasizing. This includes cancer cells that have developed a resistance to conventional cancer treatments like chemotherapy. So it's that profound, and I've got a number of other PubMed articles talking about frankincense being used in breast cancer very, very effectively. So we also make our own oil, a breast rub oil that we use frankincense and wild orange or lemon, citrus oils, to do our own breast massage to enhance our health in this area, whether we have a familial history of it or not. It's a wonderful preventative measure. Then breathe. Breathe is also very useful at this time for, one thing I forgot. You see, I didn't look at my sheet. Frankincense is very helpful for migraines and headaches. We use it regularly, even for hangovers and migraines, headaches. We can use it on the top of our palates for that. Also it's in that Truth About Cancer, they talked a lot about using it for brain tumors. But the migraines is very, very helpful. And we support you and tell you how to use it in these times. For your migraine. And sorry, I just suddenly thought I'd meant to send someone a video of someone talking about this. I'd meant to send it yesterday. So breathe helps to, so breathe is a blend. It's got a whole lot of different oils in it that help to open up lungs, including peppermint, because that opens up lungs, and eucalyptus and various other oils. Helps lungs and sinuses, helps clear breathing day and night. Again, we say that the oils have side benefits because it's very good for helping snoring, putting it under the feet or on the chest or under the nose. And so if one's partner is no longer snoring, marital and partner relationships are much better. So that's a side benefit of the oils. It's very good for people who struggle with asthma. This was one of the first things that came to my attention, because when people were starting to use the oils after classes that I taught, they'd come back and say, we use the breathe for our daughter's chest before a hockey game, and normally she has to use her asthma inhaler and she didn't have to use it because of that. So I know Didi uses it a lot for her family because her son struggles with asthma, and Didi's had symptoms like that, and it really does open up the chest. So before exercise or at night or in times like this, Didi, as she said, she's got it in her diffuser. So it's very good for respiratory support, snoring, and restful sleep. Then Zengest, also one of our favorites, helps to relieve stomach upset, motion sickness or nausea, and used at meal times for improved digestion. So it's got all the things like fennel, aniseed, ginger, all the things that help with digestion. We can use it topically on our tummy. We can take it, drop internally in a little bit of water. It helps with bloating. It doesn't matter whether it's constipation or diarrhea. It helps the body to return to homeostasis. Sore tummies for our children. I have a Zengest roller that I take around with me. So if anyone's got a sore tummy, we've got something to use immediately, and it more often than not helps almost immediately. Our one son gets quite car sick when we drive, so I often will have the Zengest roller that he can put on his hands or inhale, or he can inhale straight from the bottle. And it's I know Didi talks about having had digestive issues, and how powerful she's found this in as a help for her. Then Deep Blue, as a physio, this is one of my, yeah.
Hi, Nikki. Just to go back on the Zengest, especially in these times, that it also helps with opening up the sinuses if you can put it around your sinus points. So if you're finding that you are very clogged up, like I have been, it is very strong, but just putting it around and obviously closing your eyes and around, that's the sinus area, it really opens and breaks down the mucus.
Yeah, thank you, Didi. Oh, you see that we always do forget something, so it's nice to have that. Thank you. So Zengest is so profound for breaking down mucus in our tummy. So it's when we've had too much dairy and we've got that really like heavy mucusy reaction in our stomach, and again for breaking up mucus when we have too much mucus in our sinuses. And it's a wonderful use for it. So we use it like that too. So Deep Blue helps soothe achy muscles and joints and eases head tension. So it's as a physio, it's got that wintergreen physio room smell. It's the only one that comes with a childproof cap, because we can't take it internally. So it and Breathe are the only two of the top 10 kits that you don't take internally. So you can put a drop directly on bruising. It's incredible for how it helps with bruising. We can put it like on a sprained ankle or an inflamed joint. We make a roller. You'll see my Deep Blue roller. It's a much bluer color. So this morning my son was saying his neck was sore, he'd slept funny, so we put some Deep Blue on, and I rub sort of into the front of your neck and the back of the neck. It's really helpful for that. For headaches, we always put it across here and into here. For arthritic joints, we can make a strong roller and put it on, or we layer it and we put a little bit of Deep Blue and a little bit of frankincense to help with the inflammation. So that's how we often like to use the oils. We layer them. The rollers are very quick and convenient, but the potency of it is often in layering, where we add one drop and then we add another drop. So Deep Blue is Deep Blue and frankincense, and there's another oil called helichrysum, which we don't have in the top 10, but we do have in South Africa. I've never seen, as a physio, such profound tissue healing. And there's so many of my physio friends and colleagues who are getting the oils and making like a tissue healing roller in their practice, because physios and chiropractors can do a lot to align and release tension and get the body into a good healing position. But then once we don't have much to help with the inflammation. People can put anti-inflammatory gels on, or we tell them to take anti-inflammatories, and this healing roller, or by using the oils and layering, can really help the actual inflammation on the tendon once we've created the right environment, once we've put the body into a better position. And then finally, this is our last oil in the top 10, is On Guard, and it's probably our most important oil at this time. So it says powerful surface cleaner. Don't know why that's first. Supports the healthy immune system and helps to cleanse the air. But I suppose one thing that we're making more than ever is an On Guard spray. So this has got 15 drops of On Guard with mostly water and a little bit of coconut oil. This is what I've been using as a sanitizer the whole time. I spray this on my hands. I can even spray it in my mouth. It's incredible. I know, Elaine, I gave one to you yesterday. It's got oils, citrus oils like wild orange. It's got clove, cinnamon, rosemary, and eucalyptus. And that blend together is incredible antiviral, antibacterial blend. So it's a very strong for helping us stay protected, but it's also incredibly strong for boosting our immune system. So it's again twofold. So if we've been exposed to someone, or we've having a sore throat, we can spray this in our throat. At first signs of, so this is what Didi is using a lot, putting a drop under one's tongue at the first sign of any sore throat or starting to get sick. We start the day with a roller, like when our kids are going to school, we put a roller, you can see how yellow it is because of the citrus oils, under feet and on hands. And again, that's automatically a barrier, and it helps to boost the immune system quite profoundly. So whenever anyone coughs or sneezes, our kids all have their own On Guard roller. I'm like, who sneezed? Go put on some On Guard. And so that's how we use it. We diffuse it also at times like these. My mum's a therapist. When she's sitting in her rooms with people, she has her On Guard diffuser going so that it can support her immune system and their immune system. And so it cleanses the air. It's one of our ones that we can also put in a cleaning spray to clean our fruit and vegetables with lemon, and our chopping boards. And those are some of the many ways we use it. And it's great for oral health. So we can make a mouthwash that we tell people how to make a mouthwash, or when we have a cold sore or a sore in our mouth, literally just tipping over the On Guard and putting it onto the cold sore or the sore in our mouth. And the clove is numbing and it helps it to heal very quickly and well. So those are the top 10 oils. And when we have them, we can then make something like that we call this flume or flute roller. Remember we said melaleuca and tea tree are, so it just depends what you're calling it. And we combine frankincense, lemon, oregano, On Guard, and tea tree. And this makes a profound immune bomb. So we apply that under our feet, up and down our spine, back of neck, on glands, particularly if we are getting a sore throat. So our On Guard is more proactive. It protects us more going forward. When we start to feel like we're getting sick, like Didi is now, which she's actually sick, you use the flume roller like we talk about. And a very profound way of using it is actually layering it. So there's a picture here of a little boy on his tummy, lying your child down or whoever's getting sick, and you put a drop of the frankincense on their back and rub it up. You add a little bit of coconut oil as a carrier, and then a drop of each, one at a time, layering up the back, getting them to inhale and rubbing on their feet. Is hugely powerful, then wrapping them up and putting them to bed to boost the body's immune system. And here it shows using it with peppermint, because peppermint often is very good for bringing down the sensation of heat in a fever. So that's how we love to use that, our flume roller, and that's how we make it. I'm just going to see in the chat. Yeah, so yes, it's a lot to take in, exactly, Tito. We send you all the information. We have a cheat sheet. We've actually got a recording for, like, I've got my oils, now what? So we take you through what you should be doing. And we also, comes to this, the ways to purchase. So this all works because, so Didi and I are wellness advocates. We would not want you to get this kit, take it home, and then feel too overwhelmed and not know where to start. And so this is how we teach you how to start with the oils. You tell us what your specific needs are for your family. We can give you a protocol. We have a WhatsApp group where people can ask questions, or they can contact us directly. It's a very empowering journey. There's apps one can use, there's books. We give you a kit to get you going, which has got rollers and coconut, a little balm jar and little bottles and a spray bottle and this coconut oil, so that you can start making rollers and sprays straight away. And in our cheat sheet, we're telling you which ones are the best ones to get started. So there's the personal support, there's ongoing education. Our classes have ongoing education. On Thursday this week, and it's not just for our team, it's available to anyone. We're going to be doing a call with some of our American team who've been using the oils a lot longer than us, and it's to support ourselves at this time. So we have a lot of compliance things that we can't make claims about, but basically to support ourselves in a time like Didi's going through now, and what we would do. And she's going to talk quite in depth about that. That's on Thursday evening. So we'll be telling people about that. And we've got a closed Facebook group, which has got recordings of many of the classes we've held already. One on pets, babies, skincare, women's health. I teach a women's health class, emotions and the oils, so various classes like that, and those are all recorded in there. Tombi asked about chilblains with a range of oils. So we would use, for those in the top 10, we would use lavender, tea tree, and frankincense, which is our skin blend, and we make a spray called an Aoi spray that really helps. But our real incredible one is one called helichrysum, which I've talked about before, which is our liquid stitches. And I mean, I've got some amazing testimonials from people who have struggled with chilblains always, and they literally put 1 or 2 drops on their chilblains, and they say they've never had such profound healing and such profound relief from it. So that helichrysum isn't in the top 10. It's another oil. We call it liquid stitches because it literally can congeal. You put it into a cut that's bad enough to have stitches, and it can cause it to close up, and you don't need. It's an incredible. I've used it a lot for my eczema and my skin. It's very good for tendons and things, and that for chilblains is amazing. But with the top 10 with this kit, our starter would be lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. So how do we actually get the oils? As I say, we get them in a kit. This mini kit is a good starter kit. It comes with another oil called Smart and Sassy, which is a metabolic blend. It's got citrus oils. It's very good for sugar levels, for diabetics, for cravings, for losing weight, things like that. I add it to my rooibos tea to make like a chai tea with some ginger. It would be great for Didi to be having in tea a lot now to support herself at this time. So at this time, I've been speaking out a lot on social media about why, as medical professionals and healthcare professionals, and even our government, we're not talking more about health. We've got a health crisis, and yet all we're focusing on is on mass sanitization and social distancing, which is not going to make the people who are more vulnerable, like our diabetics and obesity and heart disease people, better this time next year when another flu virus comes around or another virus. And so I've been saying, why are we not standing up for health and supporting health more and looking at diet and lifestyle and stress management and various things like that? Anyway, so no one else seems to be listening, but doTERRA is standing up for health, and it's the first time we've ever known them to have a decrease, 20% off their enrollment kits. Normally they give gifts with it. Some months they give, sometimes they're not. And this time they've got 20% off. So this is for South Africa. Jemima, it's a little bit different in the UK. I can tell you what they have there. But in South Africa, it's 20% off. So basically, we'll never get this kit cheaper than it is now. It's normally $3,015, including shipping. And this time it's $2,427. That's a wholesale price, because when we get the kits with a membership like that, entitles us to all the support, and one gets it at a wholesale price. So that discount includes the wholesale price, rather than, Jemima, I know you've just ordered directly on the website and just got one or two oils, but you would have got them at a retail price, which is 25% more. So this is allows you to get it ongoing, always at a wholesale price. Then so those bottles are 5 ml bottles, which have 85 drops in each bottle. If you think this really resonates and you'd love to try it, by far the better value is the Home Essentials kit. So it has 15 ml bottles, which have got 3 times the amount of oils. So it's got 250 drops as opposed to the 5 ml bottles. It also comes with a diffuser, which is costs 700 Rand if you order it separately. So if you add the cost of the small kit, which is 3,000 Rand, and you add a diffuser, which is 700, that's normally 3,700. So for an extra 800, normally, you get 3 times the amount of oils. And these oils are going to last you at least, well, the big ones will last you 6 months, the little ones 3 to 6 months. So it really is better value to get the bigger kit with the diffuser, because we also love the diffuser, is very necessary with it. And so normally that's 4,570 for the bigger kit, and it's, as I said, it's by far better value. This time it's actually 3,671. So it is far better value, and it's that's until the end of the month, which I think is Tuesday. So those are those. I always talk about one other oil, which is not actually on this. I'm going to stop sharing. It's called Copaiba or Copaiba. So as I said, doTERRA came up with this kit to say like 80 to 90% of family things will be covered. But in the last 3 to 4 years, I think it was 4 years ago, they introduced an oil called Copaiba or Copaiba. It's from trees in Brazil. And it's our equivalent of CBD oil. It's it's very good for, it's an endocannabinoid or plant cannabinoid. So it helps to, like cannabis oil, it returns the body to homeostasis and helps it to work much better. It helps with anxiety and stress. It helps with chronic inflammatory conditions, things like rheumatoid arthritis. It helps with autoimmune stuff, digestive issues, liver detox. But it doesn't have any of the hallucinogenic properties like THC or any of the mind-altering effects. So it's a far safer and direct acting. And the problem is a lot of the cannabis and CBD oil, again, there's no FDA governing what's in it. So we don't know. You can get some very pure and very potent oils, and you can get some very adulterated oils. So Copaiba is one just to have on your radar if you do have any of those issues. I also take a drop of it under my tongue in the morning and in the evening. I don't thankfully have any of those issues, but it just helps my body to work well and keeps it in a good state. So that's just the Copaiba, just to tell you about that. The helichrysum for eczema, yeah, it's not in the top 10. I use it directly. It's a very soft, it's a very gentle oil, although it smells quite strong. I didn't like the smell initially, but you literally just put it on your skin, or we mix it in. So our skin oils are our lavender, tea tree, and frankincense, like I mentioned earlier. So we make a spray called an owie spray, or we put a blend into oils or balms for eczema, and then if we add the helichrysum, it supercharges it, or we just do layering with the helichrysum. So if you just have sort of dry patches and a little bit of eczema, often those first 3, which are in the top 10, are enough to cater for it. If you have more of an eczema issue, then the helichrysum is really worth getting as well, because it's so profound as a tissue healer. I even did a little video, it's on my little YouTube channel, about talking about what an incredible tissue healer it is. So thank you, and I think that's about it. We've kept you here for a long time, but I wondered if anyone's got any questions, please unmute yourselves or continue to type in here. And Kirsty, I just trying to, not sure who invited you to the class, but whoever invited you to the class would be the person who supports you going forward, and to get in touch with afterwards if you do want to get a kit, because then they will help you to guide you how to do it. Everyone else, I think I know who invited you. Any questions?
No, Nix, I think you did well. Thank you for holding the fort so lovely, and that I could rest my voice. I think you did very well. And yeah, so as Nikki says, we're here to support you, and Tuto will send all the info we guide you. As she said, we have ongoing support classes as well, which is the great benefit about doTERRA. It's not that we say buy the oils and then we leave you alone. We learn also from others how they're using it, the effectiveness of it. And it's almost like a little tribe that we formed to support each other, and how best way to just get the best benefits of the oils. I had a laugh this morning after I steamed, because the whole family is using the oils. I had Deboho, my husband, tell me that it's time to reorder the Breathe and the Zen Jest, and maybe eucalyptus, and not knowing I buy so much. So when Nikki was saying start with the 5 ml ones, like, you know, I cannot say this month I've reordered twice, because I use at my practice as well. I did the On Guard sprays for what do you call it, in terms of the sanitizers. I did the non-alcohol sanitizers. So it's been a crazy month, but knowing that we're supporting ourselves in such a great way. But even to have them say to me that I must order, this morning I was like, okay, doTERRA has certainly arrived in the Mohasho family.
Exactly. My husband also says he thinks he uses the oils more than I do sometimes. He's got his oils. And I've got my empty bottles here for teaching, because I used to bring down my kit and then I'd forget to take it up, and he'd be like, where are the oils? How can you have taken them down? You can't just. So yeah, it really does become. So when I say that they're not addictive, they actually are addictive, but they're addictive in the best possible way. And yeah, just on that, I mean, I'm making now sanitizers for schools. We're doing an alcohol-based one and a non-alcohol-based one, which is much safer. And some of the schools have actually now ordered one for each classroom, and then many of the children are ordering little ones that they take with them. So it's a far safer, better option. Obviously, just washing hands with soap and water is a great option too, but so many of the schools seem to be insisting on our children sanitizing constantly. So yeah, so our children have their own sanitizers like that they use, which is a safer option. The alcohol one we really only use like to spray our shopping trolley, or to spray something that we're touching. I often don't even spray it on my hands. I just spray it on whatever it is I'm touching. And then the other non-alcohol based one we use far more to support ourselves. Yeah, and then Tuto, did I say Tuto? Is that
yes, it is. Yeah, I was
sorry, yes.
Yeah, so Didi will be in touch with you and tell you how to order. She'll give you a link to order.
Sure.
It's quite easy to do. It's an easy link to follow. Yeah, and I'll just assist you.
Yeah, so anyone's welcome to leave now. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to stay on and ask us any separate questions, Jemima, I can tell you about the UK, and we do have many people on our team in the UK. we've actually got a UK group, so you join our normal groups, like I put you on our normal group, but then we have a small group that is just a WhatsApp group that we send out once a month to say, these are your specials, this is how, so we support you in, you know, what's going on. And you've got more products available, but most of us, like Didi and I, who used the oils before coming to South Africa, they came to South Africa, we were exposed to the whole market, so we can tell you all about all the oils that are available there. And when we recommend stuff, we let you know with that in mind. And so the special offer this month is a little bit different. It's not complex, but it's too much to explain in this moment.
Sure.
I'll explain it to you.
All right, okay, that would be great. And tell me, like sore lips, would tea tree be good for that?
Exactly. So I've got a little bottle here, which has got 2 drops tea tree, 2 drops lavender, and 1 drop frankincense, and then it's topped up with fractionated coconut oil. So I use this on my lips, like as a lip balm, and then I add a little bit of a bee balm to it that I find. So I use this, and in fact, when I have any waxing, and a friend of mine had given me a gift of a facial the other day, which was so lovely. She said no, she wanted to give it as a gift. And then while I was there, I was like, well, I haven't had any waxing for so long, but I always have a reaction to the waxing. Like I get a little bit of a rash and things. And so she used a special wax, and it was great. It was much better. But I've noticed today, which is like 2 days later, I've got a little bit of a rash on my lip here. And so the same oils that I'm using for my lips, I can just use there, because it's the lavender, tea tree, frankincense, which is my like our skin blend. It's like our allergic skin. So I just have that in here. I've got it. I just tip it over and put it on my lips and above my lips.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Great. Thank you. And generally with the oils, can you put them on neat?
Yes.
Or should you always mix it with an oil?
It's such a good question. So like my son burned himself a bit on the toaster this morning. So all we do is like literally almost just dab the top of the bottle, because that's neat, and put that on every sort of 15 minutes. And that's absolutely fine. But the oils are very volatile. They can evaporate quickly. So when we add a little bit of coconut oil, just like a little smear on our hands, it helps it to absorb better. So it's actually better to use it with a small amount of carrier, that it can absorb better. But certain things one can use neat. So we also send a dilution chart, because for children and the elderly and pets, we dilute it far more. Whereas for adults, one can use it far more neat. So quite often we'll just put a drop of deep blue and put that on neat. But I've got quite a sensitive skin, so if I don't put some carrier oil, I can have it neat on my skin, but then every now and then, if I've done that too much, I'll start to get like a little bit of a bumpy, rashy skin, and I'll just add coconut oil.
Right. And the fractionated coconut oil, what is, I mean, I understand you take out, so it always remains liquid.
Exactly. So you can just look up on Amazon. So
you can that.
Yes, you'll look up fractionated coconut oil on Amazon, and you'd find it. So because we can't give you this gift of a starter kit, which we give our rolling kit, I give you a gift of another roller, like a touch roller, which are their pre-made rollers of tea tree or lavender or something like that as a gift. But it's far more accessible for you to go onto something like Amazon and just order these accessories. For us, it's not so. We've had to set up our accessories company so that we can make this available to people. It's quick and easy and cheap to get them, but for you it's much easier to order.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Lovely. Well, thank you so much. That's really.
I'll be in touch with you.
So lovely. All right. Thank you, Nicola.
Link and I'll talk about the special for this month.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you,
Nikki.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Nikki. Bye. Thanks, Jane. I'll be
asking about the blend for cracked heels, and I think we had just posted a great heel balm.
Yes, I've got a lovely thing for cracked heels, and I put it on our group recently, and Barbara, our meditation teacher, Didi and Nicky, was telling me how much it's helping her. So it's very effective. It's great. So we can tell you about that.
So it's oregano. We use oregano. We use lemon. We use frankincense and peppermint, rutabile. So those are the blends that we use for the cracked heel, which are what you would get with the top 10 essential kit?
Yeah. So on our groups, we really focus on supporting people with the top 10 oils, because that's what we know everyone's got when they're on our group. But then there are, like, so for sleep, lavender and frankincense are incredible. But if you're a real insomniac, then our next step up is serenity. So there is always sort of the next step if one needs it, but we try and start always with the top 10 with all our recommendations. Thanks, thanks, Elaine.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jemima. Yeah. Thanks,
you.
Tony.
Bye.
Thanks, Tatu. Tuto.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Much. Bye.
Bye.
We need
Thanks,
to
Domi.
put this off and stop recording. Okay, and if anyone wants the recording, you're welcome to. Didi, if you need it for anyone, I can send you the link.
That would be great. Thanks, Nix.